Project Tamriel team is busy working on the next release for Skyrim Home of the Nords. The release is called the Markarth release. And in my April 2024 update video, I discussed the geography, the new cities, the towns, the new POIs and more. The link to that video is in the description for you if you're interested. And now it's been 2 years since my last Skyrim update, and I had some questions for the team. The Project Tamriel developers kindly answered them for all of you. In this video, we shall discuss the Q&A and end with dream time as usual. So stick around till the end! Okay, my first question, how is the Skyrim Home of the Nords team doing? It's been 2 years since I last spoke about the Markarth release. Can you share the team's progress since my last update video in 2024?
Exteriors in the new areas have long been finished, but in the past 2 years there has been an effort to revamp previously released areas to have more content and greater stylistic cohesion with newer Project Tamriel releases. Of note, the cities of Karthwasten and Dragonstar and the regions of Lorchweir Heath and Vorngad Forest are being revamped. All of the above should perform better, or much better, as a result.
Okay, so the Skyrim Home of the Nords team is revamping the older areas as well. That includes exterior areas, new questing content and performance tuning. If you look at the map with the releases, Sky_Main is the current release with the cities of Karthwasten and Dragonstar. Sky_MK is a new region that we will get to experience with the upcoming release. Interestingly, the team is also revamping the cities of Karthwasten and Dragonstar. For those who don't know, Dragonstar is a small city located in the Drodak Highlands region, straddling the Skyrim and Hammerfell border. So in the third era, the city has been divided since the conclusion of the War of Bendermark some 30 years ago. Dragonstar East belongs to the Kingdom of the Reach and makes up its westernmost holdings. Dragonstar West, meanwhile, remains under the control of the Red Guard Republic of Dragonstar and makes up the last remnant of Hammerfell's territory within the Reach. The developer mentions Lorchweir Heath and Vorngad Forest. The Lorchweir Heath is an area with large open spaces filled with wild animals and other beasts, right here. And Vorngad Forest is where you have the town of Kathgard. It is a dangerous place full of bears, bandits and other dangers. So these two areas are also being revamped. Interesting. I look forward to the new regions and additions. Now my next questions to the developer was about the new area. Looking at the Markarth expansion map, let's talk about Sky_MK area. What kind of locations and points of interest can one expect to find in this new area?
For starters, the players should expect to find 2 new full-fledged cities, Beorenhall and Markarthside, which will double the number of cities in the mod. Unlike the Redguard-built Karthwasten and Dragonstar, these 2 cities were built in true Nordic architectural style. In addition to them, there will be new Nordic farms, Reachmen camps, Orcish camps, Durini ruins, Dragon Cult ruins, and various other dungeons. Other notable additions include the town of Osabi, situated to the west of Karthwasten and Hammerfell proper, and Fenrild's Bend, an estate to the east of Beorenhall that will be built for the player as part of the Kingdom of the Reach questline. Mount Snowhawk, of course, should also be mentioned as the first true mountain implemented in our mod.
Very cool. When I last played Skyrim Home of the Nords, I enjoyed visiting the various Reachmen clans and exploring those Durini ruins. But now, these Dragon Cult ruins are new. Project Tamriel team says, although ruined, the temples of the Dragon Cult can still sometimes be found in use. Those near villages in particular may be occupied by 1 or 2 dragon cultists who assist local agriculture and oversee the various rituals and rites of Alduin across the seasons. Today in the third era, the dragon cult is generally an institution only in rural and traditional areas. The lower levels of these ruined temples remain dangerous, however. Those who feared they would die before the return of the dragon practiced strange magics to bind themselves to their corpses, willingly trapping themselves in a tortured existence in anticipation of the Kalpa's imminent end. As the millennia have passed, few of these still roam the catacombs and are known to attack intruders in their madness and despair. So we will face some undead inside. The temples of the dragon cult will be based on the standard Nordic barrow set, but with their own architectural quirks and even unique assets. They will be rare and most commonly found near rural villages, with most of the temple buried and only some outer parts visible, just like the Daedric ruins in Vanilla. Okay, so essentially the dragon cult in Skyrim will be integrated into the day-to-day life of the local Nords who follow old traditions. So I would love to see some alien-looking designs of the dragon cult ruins. It will add a lot of intrigue and mystery to the Skyrim landscape. I'm really looking forward to visiting these dragon cult ruins, but do share your thoughts in the comments. Now, the next question, looking at the Markarth expansion map, can you share the changes being made to the Sky_main area?
The released area of the mod is, in places, over a decade old. To match the newest content and modern player expectations, it required overhauls to the exterior, interior, assets, scripting, and writing. This is something Project Tamriel the Abyssian Shores went through as well before its release, and something Shotn is finalizing right now. The most notable changes include exterior improvements of Karthwasten and Dragonstar. For example, the Red Palace now has a unique 3D model in red, the Dragonstar Arena has received a bespoke model as well, there are new architectural pieces to diversify the city's houses, and more. Outside of the cities, expect to find new dungeons in the older areas. Notably, a dozen Redguard crypts were added throughout the Western Kingdom of the Reach. Some old quests, like the minimalist Karthwasten Fighters Guild quests, will be polished and expanded too. Finally, there will be new quests and faction quest lines in older areas as well.
Wonderful stuff. Redguard Crypt sounds cool, and more quests in Karthwasten are welcome. Next question, given that Markarth's side is built upon a citadel of the Direnni hegemony, what specific architectural or questing elements will highlight the Direnni influence in the Markarth side palace?
Can't say much about this. The Elfstone Keep serves as the main castle where King Barda lives and rules. Many of his dignitaries, relatives, vassals, and guests also call this Direnni stronghold their home. The player will visit the location on multiple occasions, just like Castle Goldstone in Anvil.
Okay, for those who don't know, the city of Markarth's site exists on the site of an old citadel of the Direnni hegemony, known as the Elfstone Keep. I guess by the Third Era, the Direnni are forgotten, and the Elfstone Keep serves as the headquarters of the Kingdom of the Reach. Sometime in the past, one Orin the Thunder, a Nord, conquered Elfstone Keep and founded Markarth's side. Today, in the Third Era, Markarth's side has grown into the bustling capital of the Reach, and the Elfstone Keep acts as the seat of King Barda. Next question. 2 years back, you mentioned that the Guild of Fighters, Guild of Mages, and Dark Brotherhood and the Kingdom of the Reach will be joinable factions found in the city of Markarth's side. Is that still the case, or do we have some faction additions or removals?
One of the most notable joinable factions added for Markarth release is the Amhra Society, which is essentially a Reachmen political faction. As for the core factions, the Guild of Fighters will get 13 more quests in Markarth's side and Baronhall, some of which will explore the friendly competition with the companions. These quests have already been implemented by the team. The new Thieves Guild quest line adds roughly the same number of adventures to the Eastern Kingdom of the Reach, and is under development. The development of the Mages Guild, the Dark Brotherhood, the Amhra Society, and the Kingdom of the Reach is yet to get started. The Companions and Atreus Building Commission are the major non-joinable factions of the release that the player will interact with through various other faction quest lines. Markarth College of the Voice is a joinable faction, but instead of quests, the player will have to attend uniquely scripted classes, pay for education, and eventually become a graduate. Generally, we can say that the project is gradually entering the quest dev stage, which is the final major stage of a release development.
If you have any questions for the team on these factions, do write them in the comments below. Next question, could you provide additional details regarding the Amhra Society, the Reachmen clan faction? Specifically, I'm interested in their standing with other regional clans and whether they have any diplomatic or trade dealings with the Empire or the Kingdom of the Reach.
The Amhra Society is a covert revolutionary organization made up of Reachmen fighters and thinkers, named after the Reachmen Kingdom of Amhra, a successor state of the Reachmen Longhouse Empire, and intentionally idealized by the society. It is styled as a society partially as camouflage for their more illicit activities, but also as a reference to the faction's urban intellectual origins. Ideally, the player will work for the leader of the faction who wants to resurrect the free Reachmen state after the Empire of Cyrodiil crumbles. In practice, this is a local crime faction analogous to the Thieves Guild or the Janata Syndicate in Narcissus. The society openly publishes political literature to spread its influence, while the player will be sent to work with disparate Reachmen clans to unite them for a common cause. The Kingdom of Anvil would be too far away from the society to have connections with. The tribes of the Reach are quite diverse and hold a variety of opinions of the Amhra Society. While some are quite friendly, others are proving more difficult to work with, being isolationist, traditionalist, or even outright hostile to the faction and their agents. The player will have the opportunity to help the society collaborate with several tribes as part of the faction.
Unlike the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, the Project Tamriel will feature multiple Reachmen clans, and I feel that this Amhra Society is a fascinating faction. They seem to be petty criminals, yet they seem to have ambitions of uniting disparate Reachmen clans for a higher goal. And what would that be? Interesting. Do share your thoughts on this interesting faction for Skyrim. Next question is about the Dark Brotherhood faction. Can you share with the community Project Tamriel's ideas, themes, and skill requirements of the Dark Brotherhood faction? The faction has never appeared in Elder Scrolls III Morrowind or even Tamriel Rebuild. In Daggerfall, they were devoted to Mephala, the Daedric Prince. I'm curious about the team's vision for the guild.
The Dark Brotherhood is the vanilla faction that we will make joinable for the first time in our province mods. It is an evil cult of killers for profit, and a wicked religious agenda in worship of Sithis, god of change and murder. Our design document has over a dozen quests planned for it in Markarth Side and Karth Wastein. The Brotherhood favors speed and agility, marksman, short blade, light armor, illusion, alchemy, and sneak. The faction is similar to the vanilla Morag Tong, in which it takes its origins centuries ago, but unlike it, the Dark Brotherhood is an illegal organization, and the Legion tries to suppress it. The quests will involve hitting various targets and doing tasks pertaining to the Brotherhood's interest in the region.
Wow, I love it. Illusion, alchemy, short blade, marksman seems apt skills for the Dark Brotherhood. I'm really fascinated. I really look forward to the quests here. I mean, for the first time, we are going to experience Dark Brotherhood in Morrowind. Think about that, huh? Amazing, huh? Okay, next question. Let's discuss about the Kingdom of the Reach, the political faction of Skyrim Home of the Nords. We know that every hold in Skyrim will get its own political faction. In 2024, the team mentioned that the questline of the Reach will focus on resolving the Dragonstar standstill. Is that still the case? Please share some more information on what a player can expect when they join the Kingdom of the Reach.
Similar to vanilla Great House questlines and the Kingdom of Anvil faction, the Kingdom of the Reach will involve helping local political rulers and ascending the societal ladder in the kingdom. King Barda is old, and the question of his successor creates a tense atmosphere. Expect branching paths in favor of conflicting political interests, resolving regional dramatic issues, building a stronghold for yourself, and deciding the fate of the kingdom. Practical implementation of the quests is yet to begin.
Wow, that's fascinating. So I guess the team is working on the writing of this questline. Creating a stronghold for the player character reminds me of House Telvanni's Tel Ubrith. That sounds amazing. So, yep, fun faction. final question is about quest design. I love Tamriel Rebuild's approach when it comes to quest design. You are provided with multiple options to resolve issues, and most quests have branching paths with consequences for enhanced replayability. I would love to know Project Tamriel's quest design philosophy.
This was the case particularly in Old Ebonheart and Balfoyan, but now Tamriel Rebuilt prefers simpler quest lines that are closer to vanilla standards. Complex quests are difficult to make and even more difficult to review, which causes bottlenecks in the questing development process. Project Tamriel has learnt from that and has a similar philosophy. After all, many quest developers work in both projects. Having said that, Tamriel Rebuilt does still try to provide options to players and anticipate different ways of completing quests. This is easier to do in missed quests, where there aren't the compounding consequences of multiple different decision trees that you would find in a multi-stage questline. However, the Kingdom of Anvil in Project Cyrodiil is a recent example of a questline that gives players a choice in how they want to proceed in that faction. That said, the Kingdom of the Reach faction questline will be a good example of a branching narrative with 3 distinct paths for the player to choose at the current planning. This will decide the destiny of Dragonstar.
Interesting observation on the change in approach regarding quest design. Apparently, this process of having more simplistic vanilla-style quests can be seen in the Grasping Fortune release of Narcissus. Now, let me know your thoughts on this. Alright guys, we end this month's Skyrim Home of the Nords showcase with Dreamtime. Do share your thoughts on Project Tamriel's Skyrim and the team's vision. May the Divines watch over you.